I would honestly be more entertained with the Impaler storyline if Oscar the Grouch was in the alley with Jacob and Smitty a lot. I think that probably would be more entertaining. What's up, fellow Beyond the Gates viewers? Here with my usual Sunday preview video where I will also be reading your comments over the past week. Although, similar to last week, I am recording this on a Friday, so any comments on the Friday episode I won't be able to comment on, unfortunately, because I am recording this before I even premiered that video. But let's talk about the preview first, which to me, unfortunately, feels a lot like more of the same, which unfortunately probably means another boring week of Beyond the Gates, especially since a lot of the preview deals with that not at all riveting Impaler storyline. We start with the Chief of Staff Lia asking Nicole if they weren't after patient data, what were they after? And Nicole says something like, "That's the $1 million question." This is after Nicole realized that someone was on her computer and in a program she's not usually in, which we of course know was Smitty. And Naomi caught Smitty in Nicole's office, so I don't know when that will come out or if it will come out. Although I can tell you one thing, I don't care if it comes out. I don't care if Smitty gets caught. I don't really know the consequences if Smitty gets caught. Is Lia the Chief of Staff the Impaler? Should we care if Lia the Chief of Staff is the Impaler? I feel like we shouldn't. Maybe there is a bigger character in mind to actually be the Impaler. But yeah, right now I do not care even a slight bit about this Impaler storyline, which brings us to the next thing in the preview, which is Jacob being upset and kind of like big upping Smitty, saying that he's the one in charge and he has the authority, so no more going off of script. This is just Jacob ranting to Smitty for doing the snooping at the hospital. But it's not like Jacob has been making this impressive progress. He knows that Grayson is involved with the ring, and that's the only progress he's made in weeks now, because this storyline is moving at a snail's pace, like most storylines on this show these days. But with this one, the execution has been honestly pathetically bad. The execution for this storyline, the way they are executing the writing for this storyline has left so much to be desired. Next up is Anita telling Vernon that the results are in on if the chemo is working for her or not. And then we have Nicole telling Dani that she is worried on how Anita will react if the news isn't good. I would like to believe that the news will be good so that we can start moving the cancer storyline in a more positive direction and hopefully a less depressing direction. It's been going on for nearly 4 months now. I think it is time to take it in a positive direction. So hopefully Anita and Vernon can get some new storylines. But I think more importantly, so the writers of the show can put their brains into a better storyline for others, because I do feel as though, and a lot of you have agreed in the comments, that they have put the most effort behind Anita's cancer storyline and they've dropped the ball on every other storyline since then. It's time to put more effort into the other storylines on this show, to say the least. Hayley told Randy in the preview while on the phone to deal with Lynette fast and she will handle Bill. And then we see Bill telling Hayley that his answer is no, so Hayley might fall short with trying to scheme Bill with something new. I don't know how Randy will deal with Lynette. I feel like we're not going to have too much progress in this storyline over this next week. I feel like it's, even though this storyline has been our like last great hope for a solid storyline on this show, it's kind of really falling through the cracks too, in my opinion. And then the last thing in their preview is Dani telling Naomi that she is not having an affair with her father, Bill. Naomi says she is sure Hayley thought the same thing until yesterday, and then Dani says, "What are you talking about?" I have no idea what Naomi is talking about either. Will it be something riveting? My thoughts would be no. But I mean, I guess this is our slow burn for the inevitable Dani and Bill getting too close again. But I feel like we are actually ways away from that actually happening. So I also don't expect much progress there either. And that's the preview. It's not riveting, but hopefully it could be more entertaining than this past week. I really do feel like the past week of episodes was the most boring week of this show in its nearly 14-month history. So hopefully more entertaining than what we've been getting. I'm recording this on Friday, like I said. Don't know if there's been any update on the Beyond the Gates getting a renewal or getting canceled from CBS. As I talked about on Friday, it is the last show that CBS is deciding on if it's going to continue or not. I don't know if that's good news or bad news, but I guess we will find out. Let's go to y'all's comments with what little time I have to discuss this week. Pamey said, I like to see the backstories of the characters, but I don't think they needed a full episode. This is in regard to the very special Naomi and Jacob episode that we got on Monday that revolved all around them and their anniversary. Yeah, that boring ass couple did not deserve an entire episode of airtime. In fact, it set the precedent for the week that made last week the most boring week of episodes in the show's history. Gemini P said, I knew this episode was going to be boring when I saw your thumbnail halfway through the episode. I was thinking that something may happen to Jacob because of all the flashbacks. Unfortunately, Naomi and Jacob are not that interesting, so I do think they have to do something big to draw us in. Is that big something killing off Jacob? Something is telling me that's not going to happen, which is why I continue to question what this Impaler storyline is even for. It's been extremely boring, and it's very much coming off like a waste of our time. Is it going to lead to anything significant? I have lost faith in the writing, so it makes me think that nothing big is going to pay off for this storyline. ATC3X said, I thought the wedding fight was bigger than we actually seen. This is in regards to Isaiah at the wedding with Elon and them getting into it. I also thought that the flashback of those scenes fell pretty flat, and I was expecting more drama out of that too, but as we saw, it wasn't very dramatic at all, and it's kind of the show presenting us with the lack of drama that they've become accustomed to in recent months, and that's not a good thing. They have become allergic to drama with this show, I feel like, lately. Jasmine Williams 5565 said, Eva, the eternal empathy, must divorce her narcissistic mama, or she can truly kiss her life goodbye. Yeah, that is something Eva has needed to do for a while now with narcissistic Leslie, but I don't see that changing anytime soon with how slow the pace on this show is. Curly K said, I liked Darlene, and she did ask Eva a fair question about her role in destroying Nicole and Ted's marriage. She played a major part in deceiving and lying to the whole family in their homes and their businesses, and she's covering up attempted murder. Considering these two details, in no way is Eva a victim here. Come on, people. I mean, I'm not saying Eva's a victim to what she did. But the show has also written that Nicole has moved on from this situation and has forgiven Eva, for one. But for two, that doesn't mean that Darlene was not wrong in that conversation. I still contend that her being so shocked with her low blow comment that Ted lets Eva call him father was misogynistic from Darlene, and it was a very meninist statement from Darlene to take some sort of shot at Eva. Because, yeah, Leslie and Eva did some deceiving, although it was Leslie's plan most of all. But in the long term, Ted was a part of that affair. Ted made his own mistakes. Ted was keeping his own secrets. Ted is her father. And yet, some of these characters, like Darlene here, want to act like Ted did not play a role in all of the bullshit happening when he did. LVS Sweetie in that comment said, the problem with Darlene is she would have a problem with anyone who dates either of her sons. I mean, I'm not a fan of Naomi, but she gave her the blues too. Yet Darlene is one of those moms to boys who thinks their sons can do no wrong. and are always going to have a problem with the people their sons are seeing. And sometimes that makes those people misogynistic, which is how Darlene did come across to me because she's only dealt with sons for so long. Ed the Bank said, I can't wait for Darlene to fall off her high horse when she learns that her husband is a hypocrite and a dirty cop. Her family is not perfect either. Yes, the show has written Elon and Marcel as way too comfy with Grandpa Gangster, Joey, and Joey's dirty business. So uppity Darlene will have a downfall if that ever comes out, but I don't know if that will ever come out with the pacing of this show. Hemi30 said, watching The Alley, Jacob and Smitty is like watching a bad Naked Gun movie. Just silly and absurd. I'm so over their scenes. I mean, at least in recent episodes, they haven't been in the alley, but it hasn't made their scenes any better or more meaningful whatsoever. Bobby Wobby cracked me up in regards to that last comment, saying, I think of Sesame Street every time I see them in the alley, which is hilarious. Yeah, I mean, that did crack me up, and maybe they are in an alley in Sesame Street. It is possible. I would honestly be more entertained with the Impaler storyline if Oscar the Grouch was in the alley with Jacob and Smitty a lot. I think that probably would be more entertaining. Marty B1 said, I couldn't believe Jacob, who took on this undercover assignment to prove to his dad that he could handle it, was actually implying that Smitty was trying to prove something by wanting to go undercover himself at the hospital. He's just trying to find out who this woman is that Grayson reports to, and Jacob seems no closer to figuring it out. I mean, yeah, Smitty is supposed to be a part of this investigation with Jacob, so God forbid Smitty try and help Jacob find more information. Isn't that the point of the story? I mean, I guess not. I don't think there is a point to this Impaler storyline. Rita Berry said, Darlene was too hard on Eva. Leslie has no respect for Eva. Darlene was hard on Eva. Leslie also has no respect for her own daughter. And Leslie and Darlene getting into it were two typical toxic mothers making a relationship harder for their children. NY Claw Lady 9181 said, I am not feeling Darlene. I believe that she is being excessively rude and overbearing about Eva and Leslie. This is the one time that I am glad that Leslie stepped in. Eva did not deserve this treatment from Darlene. It probably, I don't know, I can't say it was good that Leslie stepped in because she makes everything worse and she just annoys people even more. But it is good that I guess Leslie is there to go against Darlene, so Eva, the victim, doesn't have to go against old, mean, bitter Darlene. Jocelyn Stewart said, Darlene did tell some truths, but there's absolutely no excuse for being downright rude at the table, and she needs to apologize to her son and his girlfriend. I would have liked to see more scenes between Darlene and Isaiah, because we saw Isaiah tell Eva that he defended Eva so well with his mother, but we didn't really see that, and so I would like to see how those two actually talk about Eva in a one-on-one setting with each other in, more scenes. Hemi30 said, I'm so sick of Vanessa going from person to person with her whiny sob stories about Joey and Deanna. Just do a damn Instagram post and leave folks alone. I don't mind lending a listening ear to a friend in need, but it can get old, especially if it's the same complaint over and over and over again. After a while, I'm just going to interrupt you and tell you to go talk to a therapist. LOL. I don't know why Nicole and Dani keep entertaining Vanessa's bullshit. I agree, especially as we are seeing more and more of Vanessa being an absolutely terrible friend. I would love to see a better point of view from Nicole and Dani as Vanessa's friend, because Vanessa's a terrible friend back to them. So let's see more of a point of view from Nicole and Dani going forward with that friendship, please. Dee Dee Taylor said, I don't always agree with you, but like that you are the first to do your recap. Thanks. I love Lynette's character and also feel the writers know how to mess things up with the cast. Lynette is going overboard with her demands. They are kind of doing a little too much with Lynette too soon. I feel like they've built Lynette up to be a better scammer than Hayley in some ways, but then in other ways, she is really going overboard with her blackmail already. Which, I mean, if it's actually going to lead to more better drama, that would be great, but I don't know if it is. Let's see a few more comments while I have time. Pulse Graves said, like you pointed out, Nick, I can't see how ever Bill saw Tomas as a younger version of himself. But worse was after Bill tore up the letter of resignation, Bill just backhanded slapped Tomas as a way to reassert his dominance. Overall, today I agree was a mess of sloppy writing, and overall storylines are in bad shape. I mean, yes, it's a joke that Bill says he saw himself in a younger Tomas because Tomas has nothing going for him, in my opinion. And I also have to agree that overall the storylines are in really bad shape and they need to really put in better effort in pretty much all storylines at this point. Pamela Jones 1990 said, I don't know how this storyline can be saved at this point beyond losing someone. I think this is in regards to the Impaler. Pamela said, I watch after it's recorded so I can fast forward it. It takes me 15 to 20 minutes to watch. No need for dialogue. It's all rinse and repeat. And mine is so much better in my head. I think most of us could probably write a better Impaler storyline than whatever the hell they are trying to make us watch. Oh, let's see. Marty B1 said, I never cared for this Impaler and Plasma Ring storyline either, and I prefer Ashley as either Naomi's friend or working in the hospital, not in a relationship. When she finds out about Grayson's secret life, it's going to be just another version of her and Derek when their relationship fell apart. Ashley only works as a friend of Naomi or working at the hospital. Watching her relationships on this show is aching to watch and paint dry, and it will just be a rinse and repeat of a storyline we already didn't like when Ashley and Derek split up. Last comment will end on a more positive note, I guess. Barbara Gregg said, I enjoyed Samantha's expression of frustration at June not wanting to attend the cotillion. I will say, out of everything last week, besides getting some entertainment between Darlene and Leslie going at it, which at least was like the only somewhat high drama of the week we had, I did enjoy the Samantha and June scenes. I thought they showed us some real emotion from both characters, with both characters having a good point of view. It was probably the best character-driven writing over this past week of episodes. That's all for me today. Let's hope for a better, more entertaining week of Beyond the Gates this coming week of April 13th.